What's happening, everybody? I hope you're doing good. Beautiful day. I know. I know. Did you miss me? Yeah, I know you missed me. Of course you missed me. I missed you too. It's always a great pleasure to exchange with you, to discuss and talk. It's December. I know. It's a lot of things happening. People moving from left, right, center. It's crazy, fellas. Have you tried book a flight? My God. Disappointing, isn't it? The price just skyrocketed. It's just crazy. You just go you're trying to buy something, let's say for about a flight for $200. And by the time the connection goes down or it slows down, you go get, your price has been updated from $200 to $300. I was trying to book a flight to Uganda. I'm telling you, the flight to Uganda is $1,000 from an African country right now. So, but right now, as I'm filming this, I'm in South Africa. Okay, not necessarily here, but I'm here for now in South Africa. I've been traveling quite a bit. So I'm right now in South Africa. I won't be here for too long. But trying to fly to Uganda, I'm telling you, the flight has been crazy. From $1,000 to Uganda. Crazy. Normally you pay about $200, two and a half, I think. Yeah, $200 to Uganda, $1,000. Crazy. Okay, so thank you very much. My name is Zack. It's your first time. Feel free to join us. I'm sure we're going to love each other. It was a great pleasure to have you here. I see you from all over the world. You already know that. So we are in Niger. Remember Niger? Here is a map. Something really drastic is happening. The ex-president of Niger has been scrutinized, and they found that he's embezzled about 300 billion CFA franc. And 300 billion CFA franc amounts to about $3 billion. Crazy stuff. So, president of Niger, ex-president of Niger, is being investigated. And that's what's happening. So, in Niger, the sky is darkening considerably for former President Mohamed Bazoum, deprived of his liberty since the overthrow of the regime in the end of July 2023. While the ECOWAS Court of Justice demands his release, the ex-leader faces serious charges. Interesting, isn't it? In less than 3 years in power, fellas, 3 years, he would have favored and signing a lucrative contract for those close to him, more than 300 billion CFA franc. That amounts to almost $3 billion to his people. So the investigative team has been on his head trying to understand. This is how they found this. So they discovered a huge contract awarded to his relatives, friends, and acquaintances and deposed the president in the oil sector. Fellas, I don't understand this. This is crazy. I know you already know this. Africans cry for power. When they get in power, all the good things they said, they just forget. I don't understand. This is not new. I mean, you name me 5 African countries that actually respect the rule of law, where people are brought into books. People are brought to books for embezzling, for stealing, for derobing, please give me 5 African countries. It's very sad. This is the reality of most African countries. They all tell you, we're going to change this. It's usually the dictator in place. They're trying to overthrow a dictator. Vote me, we're going to overthrow this dictator. He's making us suffer and stuff like that. Once they're in power, then what happens? It's time for them to eat. There's a guy in Democratic Republic of Congo. This guy used to make videos, claiming the government is evil. The government... Young man, he make his YouTube videos talking about the government, how bad the government is, how unruleful they are, how unjust they are. So he went back to the country and got a lot of people to trust him, a lot of people to feel for him, a lot of people to come behind him. And during the vote and the elections, he postulated to become a deputy, member of the parliament to vote laws. The guy got into parliament, and as soon as he got into parliament, guess what he did? He completely forgot everything he said. Now he's actually a big, player of the government. There is another guy that came forward as well. He was a doctor, some stuff like that during COVID, also doing good things. Today he's part of the government. That's how it's very sad. That's the situation. Most people in Africa will talk about how bad things are, how government is unreal, they're unrealistic, they are stealing from the people. As soon as they get an opportunity to get into government, they forget all of that. They shut their mouth. They don't talk anything anymore. They don't say a thing anymore. So they say the sector has been a scene of favoritism with awarding lucrative contract of exploitation, forage, and transport hydrocarbon to family. Mohamed Bazoum has been accused of favoritism. Let me give you context, fellas. I know many people don't understand what's happening here. Okay, Mohamed Bazoum is the president of Niger. Niger is this country right here, not Nigeria. This is Nigeria. This is Niger. So we have Nigeria and Niger. These are two separate countries, okay? Different people, different cultures, different, even though the same, different, complete different countries. Okay, so the president of Niger, the ex-president, Mohamed Bazoum, was toppled. Why was he toppled? Because Niger was colonized by French people. Okay, for many, many years, they beat the living hell out of them. Sorry, I'm laughing. Yeah, that's what the Africans went through. They beat them so bad, make them do hard work, hard labor. You know how it runs? We the boss, we have the weapons. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. So for many years, they were colonized by the French. French imposed them to speak French, okay, erasing their natural, traditional languages, forcing them to speak French. If you don't speak French, you have no honor, you have no dignity. You're not classy enough. You're still an animal, and you're uncivilized. You must speak French and make sure you pronounce like a Frenchman. If you don't, yeah. And many years later, in the 1960s, France decided to give them freedom, because in the 1960s, that's when most African countries got their freedom, their independence. And the independence was really not real, because the independence on paper, but in reality, it was something else. Because the bottom line is France has colonized many African countries. Here they are: Senegal, Togo, Mali, Burkina Faso, Gabon, Cameroon, Congo, Guinea, and many other countries. And all these countries were forced to express themselves in French, forcing them not to speak their own language, but speak French and adopt French mentality. Eat like a Frenchman, then you are civilized. Go to church like a Frenchman. Forget your own prayers, your own style of praying, then you're civilized. Unless you're uncivilized, then you don't do that. So, unfortunately, with Niger, after the French left, after the independence in the 1960s, they still forced these African countries to use a currency that was printed in France. Yes, I told you they say embezzled the 300 billion CFA franc. Now, the CFA franc that is used today in Senegal, Gabon, Congo, and all these other countries are printed in France. Yes, these African countries still use a monetary currency that is printed in France by the colonialists. Now, you tell me they are free. And you see them talking, oh, we are free. We having a party of independence. No, you're not free. You're not free. Okay, so even though the French people left the country, they still ran the economy of these countries. They still exploited the country's minerals, yes, with no restraint. And the people were angry at that, not happy to see that president that were put there in power, in reality, were just puppet, because their goal was not really to work for the people of Niger, but their goal was to make sure the French people are happy. Okay, and no people want that. I mean, you can do that to people for many years. You can do it for a lot of years, but you cannot do that forever, because some brave human beings will rise against you. And that's exactly what happened in Niger. At the end, military stood against the president, Mohamed Bazoum, because they said the president was working for the interest of the West and not of the people. A very simple example is Niger produces uranium, lots of uranium, massive amount of uranium. Uranium is used to create electricity. French come to Niger to exploit uranium, and they take it back to France. They create electricity with it. Then they start selling electricity to other European countries with the uranium they took from Niger. In the meantime, Niger don't have electricity. It's very difficult for them. They have to buy electricity from Nigeria. Yeah. So you have uranium, a lot of it. French people come and exploit it to go sell the electricity to other European countries. In the meantime, your people are dying because you have no electricity in hospitals. And as soon as Niger stood up to fight against their own right, Nigeria cut electricity to Niger. Do you remember that? Yes, Nigeria cut electricity. The Nigerian president said you need to reinstate the defeated president, Mohamed Bazoum, into power. If you want electricity back, Mohamed Bazoum must be in power. But again, let me remind you here, why has Mohamed Bazoum been toppled? Mohamed Bazoum has been toppled because the people believe he's working for the West. He's not working for the people. People are hungry. They are jobless. They have no infrastructure. But the Nigerian president said, no, you must reinstate him or else you're not getting his electricity. But in the meantime, he's completely disregarding the people in hospital that need electricity. Yeah, all those people in coma, yeah, you can let them go. All the people, the baby, newborn, that's fine, let them go. But put Mohammed Bazoum, because I care for you, put Mohammed Bazoum. But those people that are in hospital, let's forget about them. They don't mean much. That's exactly what happened. So now, when they toppled the president, they didn't hurt him physically. They kept him in house arrest. You must write a letter of resignation saying, I'm giving up power, I'm no more president. He refused to do it. Why he refused to do it? Because of greed, obviously. I mean, you're a president making so much money in Africa. Nobody controls you. I mean, fellas, let me tell you what. In Africa, presidents are not controlled. President is like God. Like, yeah, he's like king. Nobody can say nothing to you. No tax man, nobody, no one. Unlike some countries in Europe and America where president has actually a salary that's taxed. Not in Africa. Like, it's your time to eat. That's why people become greedy, because they have unlimited access to resources, money, funds. And family members don't want you to leave power if you are the president. Your cousins come and say, hey, dudes, like, what are you going to do now? We haven't had time to we haven't made money yet. You only have 5 years, dude. 5 years to make money, to be rich forever. And it's very sad because I feel like Africans themselves accept these things. Then they complain saying about, you accept it. Why do you accept it? You accept it because the reality is, if we say today, a very simple law, let's do like China. If somebody steals money from government, if somebody take fund from public, fund that was supposed to build schools, build hospitals, let's take him into a stadium and finish him. You don't like that, right? Oh no, that's too harsh. That's not nice. That's not godly. That's how you think, right? But China has done that. There is no stealing money in China. Yeah, there is no such thing as taking money from the government in China. Not at all. But in Africa, you can give opportunities to cousins. You can ask your cousin to go build a airport. Yeah, he's never been to school. Dude, go build an airport. He hires some people here and there and builds the airport. He gets all the fun and makes money. That's how people become rich in Africa. That's how a lot of people become rich in Africa, because they are connected to government. So the solution is very simple. Punishment. Why do people continue to steal in Africa? It's because there is no punishment. People can steal, they get out of government, never they are taken to accountability, never they are asked to respond for things they have done. Family members support this because they're eating. People are selfish. When your family member is in power, you're very happy. Oh yeah, congratulations. When it's not your family member, you go, oh, that dictatorship, unacceptable. He's stealing from government. But when it's your family member or somebody that you're acquainted to, or maybe you are just not family members, but you get to profit from the money, the stolen money, then you don't say a thing. How about we become real honest? Dudes, Africans are the biggest prayers in the world. Like, nobody prays like African. I mean, nobody goes to church and mosque like Africans. I'm telling you, you can ask them. They all believe in something, but they are unbelievably supporting people that are stealing from government. I'm telling you. Tell them, let's do... No, they don't want that. And it's very sad. And I think the only way forward, the only way forward is to make people pay a price for the wrong things that they do in this sense. Thank you very much, fellas. Let me know how you feel about this. President Bazoum, Mohamed Bazoum of Niger, they found out that he's stolen or, embezzled a gifted contract to people to as much as $3 billion. That's a lot of money. In 3 years, fellas. Just 3 years? Wow. Let me know how you feel about this. Always a great pleasure. Speak to you soon. God bless.